Thank you. So if you're interested in data and analytics and scale and how to work with customers, there's no better place to start than Walmart. I mean, looking at your website, 245 million people come to Walmart stores and online every week, 11,000 stores in 27 countries, e-commerce websites in 10 countries, $473 billion in revenue this last year. And Walmart.com started in 2000. You have over 1 million products.
8 million, actually.
8 million products. We'll have to update that. And a lot of innovative services as well. And so you've been senior director there of online marketing for the last 3 years. So Loren, tell us a little bit about what your role is, what your responsibilities are.
So I oversee, effectively my job is basically drive traffic to the website while also helping to drive traffic to the stores. I oversee a big team of what you would call business owners that effectively help run search, email, affiliates, comp shops, the bit of display that we do in SEO. I'm also matrixed with a huge team of awesome engineers and data scientists in Walmart Labs, and we're also pretty tightly aligned with our marketing counterparts in Bentonville for helping them run campaigns and execute things to really drive traffic to the stores.
And huge growth out here. I mean, Walmart.com and Labs were very small a few years ago, right? And now thousands of people?
Yep, thousands of people in the Bay Area. Big office in San Bruno, big office in Sunnyvale, and continuing to grow.
So you talked a little bit about not only that you're driving traffic to the site, but also you talked about the store. So do you think about what you do as driving traffic to the site, or do you think about it more holistically, and how do you come to grips with that every day?
Well, as best as we can. We try to think about it holistically. If you've read in the press, we've gone out there recently with more press around something we've called WMX, which is basically Walmart Media Exchange. And this is unique patented technology that effectively has allowed us to run and measure our marketing engines to basically drive both online sales and also drive offline sales, meaning sales in the store, and really optimize against doing that also. So depending on the goals of campaigns or the goals of the stores or the goals of where the funding may come from, we're pretty flexible around what goal are we really trying to drive. Where in the end, what we're really trying to drive to is how do you drive sales for Walmart wherever she chooses to shop with us.
And what kind of tools or strategies are you trying to deploy, put together to do that?
So much to the chagrin of probably many people in this room, Walmart does a lot of this in-house. Because when you're talking about the data and the level of scale at which we operate, we really try and own and operate a system with huge amounts of data. And really, most of the folks really don't have the ability to run at the scale with the engines that we have. And ultimately, our strategy is to really marry best-in-class resources from an IT perspective, and you can see this with our growth of Walmart Labs and some of the things we've been able to do at .com, and marry this with effectively the assets of the world's largest retailer, meaning the stores and the data and the shopping behavior and all of that type of stuff.
So more than anyone, you're breaking down all these different silos. You're not looking siloed at search and display and offline and stores. You somehow try to bring all this together in your modeling?
As best as we can. We still do run for the most part, we still do run our marketing channels within silos. Like search is still search, but we do run it with an aspect of, hey, how do we basically take these search dollars and get the best returns for the company, regardless of where that customer may buy. And that's unique, and the ability to basically do this with effectively knowing the data from the customers inside the 4,000 stores helps us make investment decisions of, hey, how are we going to invest with Google? What are we going to really put in our emails? How do we take affiliates and drive store sales with them? It's really about taking effectively an efficient small amount of dollars, small amount of dollars in my world, but it's actually a large amount of dollars from a total, when you think about the billions and how big Walmart is, and basically drive the most efficiency that we can, regardless of where that customer basically purchases at this point.
So in that regard then, I mean, we talked a lot about predictive analytics during the day today. Are you looking at this in tying these different things together more as sort of traditional attribution of trying to follow people around? Are you trying to build big predictive models, or is it a combination of both?
It's a combination of both. We're getting better at predictive models, but right now, where we're trying to get to is more of an ability, with our ability to find and target users based both on their online and offline behavior. We're getting into a world where we allow both ourselves from an internal perspective and also partner with our suppliers to allow us to go out and highly target customers to really drive the highest ROI impact. For instance, we may go out there and partner with a supplier to help them drive sales of diapers in the store, and it'd be best to basically serve media to people who we already know who are buying baby products within the store. So we have the ability with our new platform in WMX to effectively partner to really go out and do highly targeted, really good return marketing for both ourselves and for our suppliers.
So in other words then, by bringing all this together and the volume you have, you're able to bring the cost down to the customer, but I suppose that's also bringing the profits to your suppliers as well.
Well, it's not as much about the profits. The way that we think about this is Walmart historically has worked with suppliers on helping take costs out of the supply chain. You know, make it cheaper to basically get it and distribute it in a store and get the lowest price. We're actually really in a world where we're now starting to say, let's take some costs out of the demand chain. Effectively help our suppliers who contribute significantly to our marketing budget, just like all big retailers, run better media and get more bang for their buck out of the dollars that they have, in the hopes that by taking out the costs and making them more efficient there, they're either going to run more marketing or we're going to figure out a way to pass this on to the customer. Because in the end, it's not about Walmart going out there and trying to get crazy profit margins. It's about how do we basically help drive the prices lower to provide a better experience for our customers.
So in that process then where you're looking at marketing mix yourself, is that helpful then to your suppliers and your vendors as well, manufacturers, and trying to figure out their own marketing strategy?
When we work with suppliers on campaigns, we typically work on customized campaigns where we feel like both they and us are effectively going to get the best bang for the buck. And some of it may be awareness, some of it may be impressions, and some of it may be, hey, when you put your money into these specific vehicles, whether it may be search or display, or still continuing to partner with Walmart on the tab or TV, how are they going to basically get the highest returns? And subsequently, when they have good returns, we have good returns. Because the more successful they are, the more successful we are too.
So if you look out, over the last 3 years as you've been progressing this, and the fact that you're doing both online and offline such a huge component, obviously, of this, has your marketing mix been changing? I mean, are there areas where you're putting a lot more emphasis today than maybe you would have a few years ago?
I think without revealing any numbers, most big offline retailers are definitely starting to skew more of their marketing mix away from traditional things like tab and TV and into digital. And we likewise are also making that decision. So there's no doubt that companies like us are finding great efficiencies digitally. Plus, in digital provides a level of measurement that sometimes some of the traditional media has not in the past that allows us to make these decisions easier.
So what have been, you have so much data to deal with. What have been some of the biggest surprises that you've seen the last few years that have, wow, I never would have expected that?
Well, it's interesting. One good example is search. We effectively, we've got, we can run it and optimize it with various different ways, and there was always beliefs of really is what good for .com also good for the stores? And the answer is yes. There's still only so many keywords out there to really sell TVs. So you don't have to, it was surprising, and not, we shouldn't have really been that surprised, but it was really about, hey, what's good for both, or what's good for one is really good for the other, and vice versa. Because in the end, the customer is still there doing research and trying to find the best price and the selection and things like that.
Interesting. So I guess if you add another leg to this, probably it'd be mobile, right? So you had online, offline. Now, of course, the last couple of years have been huge growth of mobile. How is that impacting everything? How do you think about mobile now?
So mobile's interesting. We all know that's where the world's heading. I think any retailer that's out there now in the space is struggling a bit, because as traffic evolves more and more to smartphones and apps, everyone knows the nature of the way that the customer interacts with basically the mobile experience is very different than the desktop, and the conversion rates are lower. It's common industry knowledge. So one thing is like us at a .com business level are trying to figure out how do we basically work with the shift to mobile and still continue to grow our business at the great pace it's been growing. Mobile, from the store's perspective, are really where it's all at. We're thinking, if you look at our app, there's more and more features being added to it, such as even about a month ago, we relaunched the pharmacy piece of our app.
I mean, just in the mobile app?
Just in the mobile app. You know, all of our stores are geo-fenced so that we can effectively run specific mobile marketing campaigns. We actually have certain features within the app, because we really want the customers using mobile to effectively drive their trip to the store and plan their trip to the store. And we also want the customer interacting with his or her device while she's in the store too, to make the trip much more effective.
Oh, that's interesting. So are you starting to do that today? Work with the idea that you assume customers will be in your store or on their mobile device, and it's almost like a second screen to the store?
I think so. We don't quite have all the features we'd like to have yet, but we're getting there. It's clear that the app and the MWeb is not, it's just this interesting world of, well, it's not a .com thing and it's not a stores thing. It's really going to be the glue that holds both pieces together in the end. That's the way we view it. So.
Okay. How much emphasis do you put on the content part? In other words, let me ask this. Rich content, is that something that you focus a lot of thought process around online, how to make that sort of better and better? Do you look at it product by product? How do you really even think about content, the value of the content?
I would say content is important, but it's also about how to make the site easy to use and easy to check out. It's because if you look, what we look like as Walmart is very similar to how we look in the stores. It looks like the tab. It's got that look and feel of Walmart. So that's important to basically present us as Walmart. But in the end, the site and our e-commerce engines are only as good as the customer's ability to go and find the product and check out. You know, and we do have, it's interesting because we do have a lot of just content for content's sake on the site, and we do that, you know, because we want the customer to go in and look for recipes or do research on TV and all of that kind of stuff. And we also, let's face it, we build that stuff out there too, because it helps on the SEO front. Right, the more content centers we have, the more we, improve our rankings and things like that too. It's just natural.
That makes total sense. So one of the things that I read on some of the things that I'd love to ask you about some of the things you're most proud of during your watch. But I read that you basically had a record holiday, that you figured out a way to create the biggest holiday traffic and revenue day in Walmart's history. And so tell us about that. First of all, tell us when it was, and if you can, and then tell us kind of what things you did to drive to that.
Well, I think it's publicly knowledge that on Black Friday of last year, we had one of our largest days we've ever had at Walmart.com, and really it's been about a great partnership with our technology teams and our store partners to really effectively get the right amount of funding and the right way to ensure that we're going to get the best bang for our buck. And without getting into all the secret sauces, but it's really, it just shows the partnership of when this company really works together and joins at the hip of how much we can effectively make our e-commerce business grow. I mean, effectively, we're seeing this now where every day we're almost setting new internal traffic records to our site. So it's actually pretty amazing, like how fast our growth is from that perspective.
That's interesting. And in terms of your infrastructure, obviously that's probably changed a lot the last few years too. Can you talk at all about what types of things you've done or what types of challenges this volume has led you to change things?
Well, not quite in my world, but what came out in the press yesterday was that Walmart we've been effectively relaunching our website over the last few months. And right now, we're at about half of our website traffic is actually going to our new technology stack that has literally been built from the ground up all the way through to the front end of the customer experience. And we're all really excited about this platform because it's been probably a decade since we've had a major upgrade like this at Walmart.com. And this new platform is going to be set up in a way that it'll allow us to provide a lot more services to our customers, make the site experience a lot better, do more integrated marketing with the stores. And one of the key things that got brought up in a lot of these articles was we're going to be able to do a lot more personalization with this site. We're going to be able to leverage in aggregate and in a very private way the data that we have to basically try and create a more relevant shopping experience for our customers. So we'll inform our Polaris search engine with what we think may be hot in the stores. We can feed different recommendations on the site based on local weather, things like this that are out there on the internet. It's just we now have a platform which allows us to operate a lot of these things at scale.
So you're bringing, it's not just your own data, but you're bringing a lot of data. I assume it sounds like public data as well into this whole mix, and using machine learning or predictive analytics on that and trying to figure out how to move that forward.
Remember, we've got, I think the US store sales are now in the $280 billion range. There's a lot of sales data that we have access to that allows us to get smarter and better at what types of things the customers may be wanting. And that's ultimately our goal, is to make the site and the customer experience as relevant as possible.
So given your size, I mean, should we think of you as a one-off, or do you think that a lot of the things that you're dealing with today are things that people in the audience can learn from in their own businesses? How do you view that?
I think anybody who is a brick and mortar is going to have to conquer these challenges. It's just a matter of at what pace and at what fast can you handle it. The one advantage, as Walmart, because we are so big, it's allowed us to kind of go at it on our own because there's so much we can measure and do by ourselves. But I think everybody's really faced with this challenge. There's a lot of companies out there, and there's a lot of people trying to really nail this offline to online attribution. And I think in the end, that's where we need to all go to really continue to bring more dollars into this marketing ecosystem that exists out here.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that totally. So we're going to come to a close, but do you have any words of wisdom that you would like to close us out with?
Not really. Come shop at Walmart. There's not a lot in the Bay Area, but try Walmart to go. It's a great grocery delivery service. You'll love it.
And go to the website.
And go to the website. Check out the new website. Hopefully you'll end up on the part that's new. It's a great look and feel, and we're all really excited about it. So,
Loren,
great.
thank you very much.
Thank you.